and today we are talking about...
You know, it's the magical world of concrete, but, you know...
Sometimes it's less magical.
Right, well, even the magical kingdom has toilets.
And someone who has to scrub the toilets.
Right. So today we're talking about...
CCRL.
And I'm not too happy about that. Listen.
You are not too happy about it.
Well, here's... Okay, so what is CCRL? Cement and Concrete Research Laboratory. They are... What? Reference, excuse me.
Right.
Reference Laboratory. They're the ones who come in and certify that we know what the hell we're doing, the different tests, the folks who are here working, the equipment that we have, and they give us these wonderful I love me statements that we get to put on the wall and show people and say, hey, we do good per CCRL and ASTM.
So we're getting ready for our inspection, you know, our next inspection.
You get inspected every 2 years.
2 to 3.
Well, how do you get 3 years? You can get...
No, you can get up to 5. 2 to 3 is the regular rotation. It just depends on how quickly they get back to you.
Right. So 2 to 3 is the general rotation, but if you get less than a certain amount of dings...
Less than 9.
Less than 9 dings, it extends out to 5 years. Which, if you think about it, is a little messed up.
It is, and quite frankly, it depends on who you get.
Okay, well, let's not get into that.
Okay.
So, come in every 2 to 5 years.
Right.
And then throughout the year, every year, we get 2 sample sets that we have to test.
Right.
And this is for every lab out there. If you want to do certifications, if you want to be recognized as an ASTM 1077 certified lab.
And the twice a year is called proficiency sample testing. And you do concrete. We've done videos on it before. Brake cylinders, all that good stuff.
So I think what we just did is the setup, right?
So over the next few videos, you'll be seeing us prepare and kind of just how you prepare. It's especially right towards the inspection, it gets a little chaotic just trying to set everything up and get ready. There's just a lot of kind of checks to get. So.
Well, if you want to do it right, and here's the thing, you really don't fail.
Right.
Right? As long as you corrective measures, you pass, even if you screw up.
And I think you've got like 60 days. That being said, though, it's once they leave, it's a lot harder. It takes a lot longer to get those corrections verified. So the better you can do here, like just the easier it is. So
we get our inspection every year because we run certain certifications. We have to be recognized as that certified lab. Here's a few problems with it. One, let's just get into that there is what seems like zero competition. They're the only name in the game. And to me, that's a problem.
Sure.
Right from the word go. I think there is a better way of doing this.
Agreed.
Or at least a little bit more palatable to everybody. You know. Right. You know, the inspectors and the inspectees.
Right.
Still get the certification, still get the money, the commerce back and forth.
Right.
But I feel like there's a what's it called? The opportunity for another company come in and do a wireless based or a non-belly to belly based. But I do think there needs to be.
No, I agree. And maybe it's like a certain stuff every month rather than this monstrous inspection every 2 to 3 years.
I don't even mind that. It's just the way that it's done that.
Sure.
Well, anyway, so that's one thing.
Sure.
What was the thing that you were?
Well, just I have found it to be inconsistent.
Right.
It seems very much based on just the inspector, and I think like going to a doctor. I mean, one doctor might, diagnose one thing, and another might diagnose another. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a horrible example. That being said, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to know exactly what you need because some people are, yeah, that's fine, and other people, no, you've got to make all of these other little changes. So.
Right, and we're not going to videotape.
Right.
We're not going to record the actual experience.
VHS, that's where it'll be.
But we won't be doing that, but we will be doing interviews afterwards
Right.
to talk about our experiences. We won't be giving any names of the inspectors.
Right,
But
right.
we want to document the experience as much as possible. And what we're trying to do here is, and this is where I think the conflict is, it happens to be a very hard and random
Right,
inspection to get through. Even when you prepare them with us, we do a preliminary inspection, you know, what do we call it? Blind inspection, in-house inspection,
right.
just to see how we're doing, to see how, you know, our level of preparedness, because with
Right.
preparedness comes courageousness. And what Whitney's referring to is that despite your preparedness, despite your courageousness,
Mm.
it seems like the examiners, the inspectors, don't know, aren't aware of the relevant ASTMs besides what they've read and what they know how to do with generic equipment.
Well, and that's, I think that's kind of the toughest part, is that a lot of these inspectors have not worked in the lab. So honestly, a lot of ASTMs, like, there's a lot up for interpretation. A lot of them are not overly straightforward.
Right.
So I think depending on who reads it and how you read it, you can kind of see different things. And unless you've actually been in the lab and done the mixes,
Even that, I
done
yeah,
the tests,
that I could forgive them. I mean, I'm kosher with forgiving them. There's definitely a mulligan because there's an interpretation.
Sure.
The hardest thing about the ASTMs is the comma placement.
Sure.
And how that affects,
Sure.
you know, the standard operating procedures or whatever the description is. But I think what bothers me is times like, you know, and I don't know if this was a test, but every time we've had them here and we run a test,
Sure.
like we have to do oh, I'm like stuttering here. We have to do a cubic foot mix
Alright.
per ASTM C1 and 2.
And, right,
One of the things it tells you to do is
a butter mix.
a butter mix.
And one of our inspectors,
Two. We had
both
two
of them,
inspectors emphatically said, don't do
don't do the butter mix.
And I said, but that's what you do.
Right,
One of them walked out of the room until I was done with the
Right.
butter mix.
it was like, I don't need to see this. So,
And like on the 494, can you imagine not doing
Oh,
a
gosh,
butter
yeah.
mix with that much surface area?
yeah,
It's just,
yeah, you'd be in trouble.
you'd be in trouble. So, I mean, that's how we do things, and that's how we will always prepare things unless our clients
Right.
say otherwise. But when we're doing any type of submittals, DOT, certification,
Right,
we
just
have
you
to.
follow it.
Just like this, just
Right.
like we would do for their, anyway. So it's things like that, man. I'm getting so like,
You know,
what we wanted the resolution, and I keep pointing to Haley and talking to Haley because one of the things that I constantly have to remember during these videos is why. That is something that Haley really brought to the
Sure.
table, and we're gonna lose this in the video. So I want to do just a video on that. You know what you brought to the. That was the first thing. We're doing a video on. I keep saying it was glow in the dark concrete, but and I spoke about it this morning. But I don't think it was that. And Haley asked the question, well, why are we doing this video? So why are we doing this? And that's to make this easier for you. If you're a university
Mhm.
and you're doing a 494 certification and you don't have your CCRL,
Yeah, you really,
you're doing it wrong.
yeah,
That data is meaningless. That 75,000 to 250,000 that you charge that end user,
right,
just tell them to burn that money. They'll do more with it. At least they'll get warm because you're whether you're doing it intentionally or not. Without
Right.
that CCRL,
Right.
without those, I love
Right.
misstatements on the wall. It's not CCRL. It's what is it?
AMRL, I
Eh,
think is the,
Whatever those certificates
There's-
are.
yeah, right.
Without those,
oh, absolutely.
because within that 494, it says you have to be a certified
1077,
1077 ASTM
certified lab, yep,
1077 lab.
and
So-
CCRL is the only one that can certify you in that, so,
What she said.
yeah.
Thus, no competition. So anyway, hopefully you learned from this. Let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah,
about it.
absolutely, and I mean, we've been through it a few times, so it's, you know, a little nerve-wracking every time, but,
Now we have a bigger team though.
oh,
When we
absolutely.
did in the beginning when we first started, we invested well over $100,000 into beefing up our lab to make
And
sure
I think that's one of the,
C511
right,
rooms.
that's one of the biggest things is just until you go through this, I don't think you realize just even the lab setup,
Magnitude.
not even talking about the specific test that you're trying to get certified in, but just, yeah, what your lab needs, recording equipment, you
Chain
know.
of command.
So, yeah, it's a little surprising. So certainly happy to, you know, answer any questions or anything regarding that, so.
Let us know if you have any concrete questions, concrete concerns.
Like, subscribe, ding that bell for notifications.
Go concrete!
Beat asphalt.